Hey, this is René, welcome back to another video on this channel. And today I want to work on the pattern detector expert advisor. Again, this is a program that I demonstrated in the last video. So if you haven't watched the last video, you should go back and watch it because we will use parts of this program in this video. So if you didn't watch the last video, you will probably not be able to follow along. So in the last video, we wrote this pattern detector program that was able to show us all the hammer signals, like the candle formation, the hammer, all the hammer signals in the chart. In this video, we will have a look at the engulfing pattern. Engulfing and engulfing, I don't even know how to pronounce it correctly, but it is this pattern that you see on the chart right now. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So the pattern looks like this. You have like a small candle, and this can be a red candle for the bullish engulfing, and the small candle, the first small candle is green for the bearish engulfing. So let's have a look at the bullish first. So you have this smaller red candle and then a following green candle, and it is important that the green candle is like the high of the green candle has to be above the red candle, and the low of the green candle has to be below the low of the red candle. And then after this big green candle with the following candle, we have a buy signal or buy entry if we want to trade this bullish engulfing. And for a bearish engulfing, it is pretty much just the opposite. You have a smaller green candle, then a bigger red candle, and this is a sell signal. So, since we have this program here already, the pattern detector, we can just go ahead and add one more function. So we have this get hammer signal function, and on top of this function, so outside of any other function, we will create a new function. And we call this get engulfing signal, like this. And I think we do not need any parameters, if I'm right, because as far as I see this, the only important thing is that we have these two candles, and then the first candle is like inside the second candle, and this should be enough already. So we can check for a bearish engulfing and a bullish engulfing. So we check the bullish engulfing first formation, which is then always a buy signal, I think. So what do we need for this? We need the high, low, and open and close price of the last two candles, I think. Or at least we need, yeah, I think we need everything, because we need the color of the candle. We have to see if it is red or green. So we need the open and the close, and we have to check the highs and lows, so we can check if the first candle is inside the second candle. So what we need here is the high symbol period current of the last bar, and we get this using the I-high function. This is something that we did in the previous tutorial, and that's what I explained there. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it now. So this is why I can simply copy this block, and I do not have to write everything. So if I paste this block here, we get the high, low, and open and close of the last candle in the chart, which is always this candle, like the candle next to the current candle. And we need the previous candle's values also. So what we do here is we can copy this block one more time, but we change the shift value. So instead of 1, we choose 2. Because, as I explained in the last video, the shift value indexing, it starts at the very right side. So the current candle is always index 0, this is index 1, and this is index 2. So we will need these two bars. And since we cannot compile this now, because the variables all have the same name, we can rename them and say we add like the index to the variable name, right? And now, oh wait, let me get this comment down here. Oh, and we also need the time later for the for the object that we can draw into the chart. So we check for the bullish engulfing. Let's have a look at this again. So first of all, we will have to check if the last candle is green and the previous candle is red. So we check if the last candle is green. So we say if open 1 is smaller than close 1, because this means the last candle is green. Then we check if the previous candle, open 2, is greater than close 2, which means that the previous candle is red. And then we can check as a third step if the last candle at index 1, which is this one, if the high is above the candle at index 2, and if the low of this last candle is below the low of the previous candle. So this is really easy. We just check if high 1 is greater than high 2, and we check if low 1 is smaller than low 2. And this should already be enough to say that we have a buy signal here, right? So what we do here is we go to our getHammerSignal function, we copy this create object block and the return value. I mean, this is just one line, but we can still copy it and we can paste it here. And the great thing is, because we have this existing program, we can already use this create object function that we wrote in the previous video, and we do not have to define it again, because we can just use it. We can change some of these parameters and it will work for every single formation that we will create in this program from now on. So what we can do is we can say at time low will stay the same, and we can say instead of hammer we have a engulfing like this. I hope that I didn't write it wrong. No, it's correct. Engulfing. And we have the arrow again. We could even choose a different arrow. So if we search for wingdings here, there it is. We can even choose a different arrow type. For example, we choose for 217. And this will draw a different arrow. And yeah, then we return 1 because this is a buy signal. What we can do now is we can copy this block here and just exchange some of the like comparison operators, because the bearish engulfing looks pretty much the same. So the first candle is small, the second is big, and the second in this case is red and the first is green. So this is like the only thing that we have to change. So we say open 1 is greater than close 1, and open 2 is smaller than close 2. And this line can stay completely the same. And then we say the color is red and the arrow signal is 218, and we return -1. And I think if we compile this, this is already enough. There's one thing that we will have to take care of, because the variables are named different in this function than in the hammer signal function. So we will have to write low 1 and high 1 here. And then in the end, if we did not find any pattern, we will have to return 0 like this. And this is it. This should be enough already. So let me show you the whole function. I hope that I can fit it here in my screen. Yeah. So this is the whole function that we will have to write into a program to find the engulfing signals. So what we can do here is we can go to the onTick and say get engulfing signal and compile this program and run it in the strategy tester. So the strategy tester can be used in the MetaTrader 5 if you click on view, strategy tester. You can open and close it here. And then you can click on overview, visualize, search your program in the experts dropdown here, which is pattern detector, of course. And then you can just start it and see if you find the engulfing patterns. So this program should find the bullish and bearish engulfings, and it should give us this arrow. Oh, there's a signal already. Let's check if this is correct. It gives us the arrow and also a text information what it is. So here we see a engulfing, which is, I think it is sort of correct, but looks like not really perfect to me. So First of all, I want to know why this is not at the top of this candle. So let me have a look at the source code again. This was a sell signal, right? High 1. I mean, this is correct, isn't it? High 1. Yeah, the price should be correct. I don't know why it is not really at the top of the candle. And the signal is also correct because wait, let me speed it up a little bit. Yeah, let's have a look at some signals. So we can see here, for example, we see this candle is green. It is bigger than the previous candle, and also this candle is red. Here, same thing. Here it's the different or the other direction. We have a bigger red candle and a smaller green candle. Of course, often these signals do not really look like the signals from the book, right? So this is like an ideal pattern, but in real life you do not really see this like ideal patterns in real life. Yeah. So I think to have a little bit more beautiful patterns, we could say that the first candle, the smaller candle, or the body of the smaller candle has to be inside of the body of the bigger candle. I think this would be a little bit better to watch, right? So what we can do here is we can say, to make sure that it is like this, we can add another if statement here, and we could say that wait, for a buy signal we have wait, where's my... So for a buy signal, the last candle is green, the previous candle is red, so the close of the last candle has to be above the open of the previous candle. So let's write it like this: if close 1 is greater than open 2 and open 1 is smaller than close 2, like this. And yeah, for the second, oh no, this has to be here for the bullish engulfing. And then we will have to change some of the operators here, I think. So the close, so for a bearish engulfing, we have the close of the last bar, which has to be below the open of the previous bar. So the close of the last bar has to be below the open, and the open of the last bar has to be above the close of the previous bar. So if we do it like this, it should look a little bit better. Or we should only get the signals that look a little bit more beautiful. So this will give us less signals, of course, but now it looks a little bit more like the illustrations here that they chose to demonstrate these chart patterns. So let's have a look at the signals now. Yeah, let's have a look at some of them. Yeah, now the body should always be like, the body of the smaller candle should always be inside of the body of the previous candle. Yeah, for example, here or here. So these signals look a little bit more beautiful now, I think. Yeah, there's just one more thing that I want to fix here, or at least try to fix here, because you can see these red arrows. They are not really at the high of the candle. So what I can do here is I can try to define the anchor point. I think it is the anchor point. So we say object set integer in the create object function. and I say object prop, it's anchor or align, I think. So we can try anchor, or we can say if so we will have to create a new parameter for this, like the direction, if it is a buy or sell signal, and we can check if direction is greater than 0, then it is a buy signal. So we can say anchor top, and if direction is smaller than 0, it is a sell signal, and we can try to anchor the arrow at the bottom. Anchor bottom like this. And now we will get a lot of errors, of course, because we will have like have to add the direction here. So let's say this is like direction -1, because this is a sell signal. This is a sell signal. This direction 1. This direction 1 because it is a buy signal. And for the engulfing function, we do the same. So this direction 1 and this direction -1. We could have also not used this like direction parameter. We could have checked the color instead. If it is red, it is a sell signal. If it's green, it's a buy signal. But yeah, if we choose different colors, this gives us more flexibility later. So let's try this again. Let's try. Let's check if the arrow is now at the very top of the candle, like at the high, and on top of the high. That's what I try to achieve with this anchor. And let's find some of the sell signals somewhere. Buy signal. Yeah, I think now it is looking better. And we should do the same for the text message, I think, because otherwise it is not at the same position. So we can just copy this paragraph and paste it here and say object name is now object name description. The rest can stay the same. And now this should work. What we can also do now is we can search for hammer signals and engulfing signals in the same test run. So if I call both functions in the onTick function, and if I run the test again, we should now find hammer signals and engulfing signals using the same expert advisor. And that's why we need this little text description next to the arrow, because now we can see if it is if it's a hammer or a engulfing, right? And yeah, somehow the engulfing is still not really at the same position as the arrow. Yeah, probably I will have to change something else. Anchor. Maybe it is object prop align for texts, I think. Align. Oh no, this is only left, right. So it should be the anchor. Can we do something else here? Not really. Yeah, no, let's not dig too deep into it here. But yeah, you can see now we get these little arrows for hammer signals and for engulfing signals. These arrows look different. This is what we achieved using the different arrow codes, and they have a brief description of the signal next to it. So we can now use this program to find hammer signals and bullish and bearish engulfing signals. I mean, we could still write bearish engulfing for the red signals or bullish engulfing for the green signals, but I do not want to make the information too long because it is always like overlapping the chart. And yeah, if you write too much information, it just doesn't really look this clean anymore. So this is how you can figure out the engulfing signals and the hammer signals. And yeah, this is it pretty much for this tutorial. So in this tutorial, we wrote this function here. Let me show it to you once again, like in full detail. So you can see, whoops, no, that was too much. Here we wrote this get engulfing signal function that you can see here. And first of all, we calculated the parameters of the last bar and the previous bar. And then we did all of these comparisons here. This is like really, this is not complex at all. So we just take two values, we compare them using a smaller or bigger sign, and that's it pretty much. Then we stack some of these if statements to combine several conditions, and you can also use this double and sign to combine several conditions. I mean, we wouldn't have to use multiple if statements. We could just write all of these in one line using several and signs. But sometimes I like to do it like this because it looks cleaner to me. But I think this is just personal preference and it might be different for you. So maybe you want to write everything in one line and it is better for you, but again, this is just personal preference. And then we call this create object function if we find a signal. And this is a function that we wrote in the last video already, so we can just use it. We just added this parameter, the direction, to change the anchor point a little bit of the arrows. So it looks a little bit better in the chart. And that's it. That's how you can find engulfing signals in your chart. And again, this works for every symbol, for every time frame. You can use it and test it and maybe even build your own expert advisor on top of this. So this is it for this video. In the end, thanks for watching. And if you're interested in more chart patterns, you should drop a comment below this video, and maybe you can give me 1 or 2 chart patterns that I can add to this program. And after all of this, I then plan to write a short expert advisor, or at least show you how you can take these signals and open trades automatically once you receive a signal. So this is it. Thanks for watching. Have a good time and good trades. We will see each other in the next video. Bye-bye.